Sirens wail on television screens. Breaking news banners flash red and white as anchors speak in urgent tones across the Philippines. "Naval standoff at Scarborough Shoal," shouts one, as images of gray ships fill the background. Radios crackle in fishing towns, repeating urgent warnings. "Stay away from Bajo de Masinloc. Tensions at sea escalating." For many coastal families, this is the only news that matters. The air is thick with worry. In seaside barangays, elders huddle near transistor radios, listening for updates about their loved ones out at sea. Mothers clutch rosaries, children watch the horizon, searching for distant lights. In Manila, newspapers sell out by mid-morning. Everyone wants to know the latest on the brewing crisis. Social media is ablaze with hashtags: Defend Masinloc, South China Sea, Stand with Fishermen. Young activists organize vigils, waving Philippine flags at busy intersections. Politicians argue on talk shows, debating what the nation should do next. The entire country holds its breath, waiting for the next headline. The atmosphere is electric, but also fearful. The sense of an unfolding drama is everywhere, from the capital's high-rises to the bamboo shacks along the coast. For now, everyone is watching, everyone is waiting. Gray silhouettes of Philippine Navy ships cut through the morning haze. Their decks bristle with sailors in battle gear, binoculars trained on the horizon. Not far off, Chinese Coast Guard vessels loom, white and imposing, water cannons ready. The two sides circle, neither backing down. Above, the sky rumbles with jet engines. Philippine FA-50 fighter jets scream overhead, trailing white contrails. News helicopters hover at the edge of the action, their cameras zooming in on the tense dance below. Even from the air, the divide is clear. Filipino ships fly blue, red, and yellow flags, while the Chinese vessels stand their ground, their own flags snapping in the sea breeze. On the water, small Filipino patrol boats weave past the giants, relaying messages and updates. Every move is watched, every radio call is monitored. The atmosphere is tense, with both sides testing each other's resolve. Any wrong move could spark something bigger. As day turns to night, ships keep their lights low. The world watches through satellite images and live feeds, but for the crews on deck, the tension is personal, palpable, like a storm about to break. In the shadow of warships, the real cost is felt by ordinary people. Along Zambales coast, fishermen gather before dawn, their small wooden boats bobbing in the dark. They whisper about patrols, about friends chased away by foreign ships, about families hungry for fresh catch. Men like Mang Eduardo, a father of 4, remember better days. "Before, we could fish near the shoal," he says, squinting at the horizon. "Now, we are scared. Every time we go out, we wonder if we will come home." The sea, once a source of life, now feels like a border. Some have risked the journey, only to be turned back by Chinese vessels. Water cannons, loud hailers, and flashing lights drive them away. The catch is smaller these days. What little they bring home sells for higher prices. "We have no choice," sighs Aling Rosa, who runs a market stall. "The fish are fewer, but our children must eat." Hope mixes with frustration. Some fishermen talk of protest, others just pray for calm seas. All share the same fear that the next confrontation could cost them everything. The waters at stake are not just any sea, they are a legal battlefield. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled overwhelmingly in favor of the Philippines. The court declared that China's 9-dash line, which claims most of the South China Sea, has no legal basis under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. Bajo de Masinloc, they said, is inside the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. But China rejects the ruling. Beijing insists on its historic rights, marked by the 9-dash line drawn across old maps. It says the shoal is part of its territory and treats the Hague verdict as null and void, ignoring it in words and actions. For local communities, these legal battles feel far away, but their impact is real. Philippine officials point to the Hague victory as proof of their rights. Beijing, meanwhile, strengthens its patrols and builds artificial islands nearby, digging in for the long haul. UNCLOS was supposed to keep the peace at sea, but here it is a law written in invisible ink, respected by some, denied by others, with fishermen and sailors caught in the middle. Last week, China made a surprise announcement, a new marine conservation zone at Scarborough Shoal. Officials in Beijing said it was to protect fish stocks and delicate coral reefs. They promised tighter patrols, bans on certain fishing, and stricter entry rules to, preserve the environment. But in Manila, suspicion runs high. Philippine diplomats call the move a unilateral act of control. They accuse China of using conservation as a cover for expanding its grip on disputed waters. This is not about the environment, says Foreign Secretary Maria Santos. It is about sovereignty. Fishermen are furious. How can China say they are protecting our waters? Asks Mang Eduardo. We have fished here for generations. Social media explodes with anger, with many Filipinos accusing China of hypocrisy, especially after years of aggressive patrols that have kept locals out. The Philippine government files diplomatic protests, but China stands firm. The new rules remain in place, enforced by patrol boats and surveillance drones. The shoal, once open to all, now feels more closed than ever. The crisis at sea spills over onto land. In coastal markets, fish prices climb by the week. Housewives haggle over smaller, more expensive tilapia and galunggong. We used to eat fresh fish every day, sighs Aling Rosa. Now we eat dried fish or nothing at all. Children in fishing towns skip school to help their families. Some mend nets, others sell what little catch remains. Teachers worry about lost lessons and hungry students. Local churches organize soup kitchens, but supplies run thin as the standoff drags on. Rumors swirl of new clashes, of missing boats, of foreign ships lurking just offshore. Anxiety hangs over villages. Some talk of leaving for the city, seeking work in factories or markets. But most stay, hoping the sea will one day be theirs again. Community leaders organize meetings, urging calm. But the feeling is clear. Life is harder, the future uncertain, and everyone is watching the horizon for news. The standoff draws in powerful friends. Off the coast of Luzon, warships from the United States, Japan, and Australia join Philippine vessels for joint exercises. Their message is clear: the world is watching, and Manila is not alone. Massive gray destroyers glide in formation, their radars sweeping the sky. F-35 jets from Allied carriers roar overhead, practicing landings and mock dogfights. On the ground, Filipino Marines train side by side with American and Japanese troops, sharing tactics, stories, and meals. The drills are broadcast live, with reporters following every maneuver. Local communities watch in awe, and with some relief. We feel safer when the Allies are here, says one barangay captain. But we also worry, what if this brings more trouble? For the Philippines, these joint drills are both a show of strength and a plea for peace. But for China, they are seen as provocation, making the region's waters even more dangerous. As the standoff drags on, economic pain spreads. Shipping lanes near the shoal grow risky. Some cargo ships detour hundreds of miles, raising costs for exporters and importers alike. Philippine seafood exports dwindle, hitting small businesses hard. In Manila, inflation ticks upward. Fish, rice, and even vegetables cost more at the market. Restaurant owners complain of empty stalls and rising bills. Fishermen take odd jobs when they cannot fish. Some drive tricycles. Others work construction or sell fruit by the roadside. Foreign investors watch nervously. Uncertainty is bad for business, says an economist. The peso weakens. The government tries to reassure the public, but anxiety grows. Will the crisis scare away tourists or future investment? The world takes notice. Global seafood prices wobble, and countries that rely on Philippine fish look elsewhere. The cost of tension at sea is counted in pesos, jobs, and hope. Both capitals dig in. In Manila, officials speak of defending sovereignty and international law. The president calls for calm, but vows not to back down. We respect peace, but we will not yield, he says in a televised address. In Beijing, spokespeople reject all criticism. They say the shoal is inherently Chinese territory, accuse Manila of provocation, and defend their new conservation zone as a matter of responsible stewardship. Chinese media highlight support from some Asian neighbors, but most of the world sides with The Hague ruling. Diplomats from the United States, Japan, Australia, and the European Union issue statements urging restraint and respect for international law. Some offer to help mediate. Back-channel talks begin, but real progress is slow and fragile. For now, the standoff continues. Warships patrol, fishermen wait. The world watches and hopes for words, not weapons, to decide the future of Bajo de Masinloc.